There is a famous story about two shoe salesmen who were sent to a remote island in the early 1900s to expand their market. The first salesman arrived, looked around, and immediately sent a telegram back to headquarters saying, "Mission cancelled. Total disaster. No one here wears shoes." The second salesman arrived a week later. He looked at the same people on the same island and frantically wired back, "Huge opportunity. Send 10,000 pairs immediately. Everyone here needs shoes." We have heard stories like this 1,000 times. It sounds like a cliché. Just think positive, they say. Look on the bright side. But in a world filled with economic uncertainty, personal burnout, and complex challenges, hearing "just be positive" can feel insulting. It feels like denial. It feels like toxic positivity. However, today, I want to invite you to deconstruct this concept. True positive thinking is not about ignoring reality. It is not about smiling while your house is on fire. True positive thinking is a strategic tool. It is an operating system for your brain. It is the ability to see the potential in a situation where others only see the problem. Neuroscience shows us that our brains are naturally wired for negativity. It is a survival mechanism. Our ancestors didn't survive by admiring the beautiful sunset. They survived by worrying about the tiger in the bushes. We are the descendants of the warriors. But in the modern world, this ancient software is glitching. It turns an email from a boss into a life or death threat. It turns a market dip into a catastrophe. To upgrade this software, to truly master the art of positive thinking, we need to look back before we move forward. We need to sit at the feet of the four greatest teachers of humanity: Socrates, Buddha, Confucius, and Jesus, and ask them, how do we keep a light burning when the world gets dark? Let us begin with Socrates in ancient Athens. Socrates would tell us that negativity is often just a lack of perspective. He famously said, "Wisdom begins in wonder. When we are negative, we are usually certain. We are certain that we will fail. We are certain that the economy will crash. We are certain that person hates us." Socrates challenges this certainty. He asks us to examine our thoughts. This is the Socratic method applied to your own mind. When a negative thought arises, for example, "I will never succeed in this new business," Socrates would ask, "Is that true? Do you have 100% evidence for that? Or is this just a fear masquerading as a fact?" Positive thinking, in the Socratic sense, is logical thinking. It is the realization that the worst-case scenario is rarely the only scenario. It is shifting from "I can't" to "how can I?" It is replacing the period at the end of a sentence with a question mark. Next, we turn to the East, to the Buddha. If Socrates gives us logic, Buddha gives us metacognition. He teaches us about the second arrow. Imagine you are walking in the forest and you are shot by an arrow. It hurts physically. That is the first arrow. This represents the unavoidable pain of life, a failed project, a breakup, a lost job. We cannot avoid the first arrow. But then, immediately we shoot ourselves with a second arrow. We say, "Why is this happening to me? I am so stupid. I will never recover. Life is unfair." This is the second arrow, the suffering we create with our own minds. The Buddha teaches that positive thinking is simply the refusal to shoot the second arrow. It is accepting the situation as it is, without adding the heavy layer of self-judgment. It is saying, "Okay, this happened. Now what is the next right step?" This form of positivity is calm. It is grounded. It stops the bleeding so healing can begin. Then we have Confucius. While Buddha focuses on the mind, Confucius focuses on the action and the ritual. He understood that our outer behavior shapes our inner reality. He spoke of the rectification of names, meaning, if you call a situation a disaster, your brain releases cortisol and prepares for defeat. If you call the exact same situation a challenge, your brain releases dopamine and prepares for action. Confucius would tell us to watch our language. Do not say, "I have to go to work." Say, "I get to go to work." Do not say, "This is impossible." Say, This is difficult but solvable. This is not just wordplay. It is rewiring your neural pathways. Confucius teaches us that we can act our way into a new way of thinking more easily than we can think our way into a new way of acting. Stand up straight, dress with dignity, speak with hope. Eventually, your mind will align with your body. Finally, we look to the teachings of Jesus. He introduces the most powerful engine of positive thinking, faith. He spoke of the mustard seed, how the smallest seed can grow into the largest tree. This is the principle of vision. Jesus taught that reality is pliable to those who believe. According to your faith, will it be done to you? In modern psychology, we call this the self-fulfilling prophecy or the placebo effect. If you believe there is a way, you will unconsciously look for solutions. If you believe there is no way, you will unconsciously blind yourself to the open doors. Jesus' positivity is not passive, it is active creation. It is the audacity to see the harvest while you are still holding the seeds. It is the courage to walk on water when physics says you should sink. It is knowing that even in the darkest valley, there is a path through, provided you keep walking. So, how do we combine all this? How do we execute this in our daily lives, starting tomorrow morning? First, apply the Socratic filter. When you wake up and feel anxiety, ask yourself, is this worry based on fact or fear? Interrogate your negativity. Second, practice the Buddhist shield. When something goes wrong, accept the pain, but refuse to add the suffering. Don't shoot the second arrow. Take a deep breath and return to the present moment. Third, use the Confucian ritual. Change your words. Eliminate the vocabulary of victimhood. Speak of your future with respect. Dress and act like the person you want to become, even if you don't feel like it yet. And fourth, hold the vision of the mustard seed. Visualize your desired outcome vividly. Believe in the value of what you are doing. Let that belief be the fuel that pushes you through the resistance. The world is a mirror. It reflects back to us what we project into it. If you frown at the mirror, it frowns back. If you smile, it has no choice but to return the reflection. Positive thinking is not magic. It will not prevent the storm, but it will give you the strength to build a shelter. It will give you the eyes to see the stars above the clouds. And most importantly, it will give you the endurance to keep moving forward until the sun rises again. Your life is a story, and the pen is in your hand. Do not write a tragedy when you have the power to write a triumph. The choice, as always, is yours.